I am good. How are you? How's everyone? Ooh, good little showing here. Yeah, I'm finally good. I know it's been a longer break than usual. Usually, I've been trying to do these every 3 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. But we had a somewhat unplanned trip to Poland. I mean, it was sort of planned. My wife is from Poland, and her sister got married, so it was a little bit, not super long notice. So we had a quick quick trip to Poland for a few weeks. Um, and then I got back from that last week, and then I got sick immediately. So I had to push one more time. I was just like in bed all day last Wednesday. And then I had my brother and his wife were coming to visit for the weekend. So it's been like one thing after another. So I've had to miss coffee with Eric for several weeks. But finally back. And I don't think I will have to miss again, at least until probably after Christmas or Christmas time or something. So got a few months of goodness. Can everyone see and hear me okay? I think I updated my OS since last time. Everything working? Yes. Okay, cool. Hi. Hi, everybody. We need new characters. Yes, we do. Absolutely. I've also been I've been getting some work done on the game, but it's been like this big stretch at the end of summer where I was in Minnesota visiting my dad, and then we had this Poland stuff, and then my brother visiting, and like all this stuff has been like slowing me down. So I'm I'm more behind than my usual behind self, but I'm finally. It's like I said. I think we're in a stretch now where I'm going to get some good progress made. Finally, hopefully get that darn 1.8 out the door here soon, so we can get new characters and things like that. Oh my gosh, or a Halloween event. As you mentioned, I think I'm a little too slow right now to have anything meaningful for Halloween this year, but I am super excited for getting the 1.8 stuff in there. So next year, next year we will definitely have. I never like to use the word definitely, but with 99% certainty, I can say that next year we should have some fun Halloween stuff because it'll be a lot easier to add characters and all that. But yeah, Halloween is like the best holiday I feel like for the game because it's like you can add so many characters. I mean, there's like like anything is relevant almost. The My big debate is like whether I'm going to try to scratch together a Halloween costume. A friend of mine is having a Halloween party, so I'd like to go, but I need some sort of costume. So if anyone has any ideas what I would look good as, I've got to come up with something in the next week or two. Yeah, like a pumpkin head character. That would be awesome. I'm trying to think like what would be on the top of the list of like Halloween characters to add. So we can make a mental note for next year, like a pumpkin head character. I mean, there's the standard like vampire or mummy or like the kind of classic stuff. Um, Bone dog. Ideas for updates. Yeah, feel free to drop ideas. It's fun to discuss ideas. That's part of the reason we have this Coffee with Eric stuff. Is like I'd love to hear what people want or what you think would be fun or just throwing ideas out is good because then other people can make mods out of those ideas or whatever. It's kind of community goodness. Ooh, drop us a bomb idea. Oh my gosh, there's so many bomb ideas. I mean, I think we've discussed bomb ideas a lot before. I'm trying to think the next bomb idea I would like to see. I've always thought of like one random thing is like remote controlled bombs or something. Has this been done in any mods where like you launch a bomb that's just kind of like when you launch it, you take control of the bomb and your guy just like sits there with remote control or something as the bomb goes around. I know that takes me back to like the original Unreal Tournament. Has anyone played like the original Unreal Tournament? There was like this like rocket you could shoot that you'd like basically turn into like a drone and you just like take control of that. And your guy was just like sitting there controlling the drone and completely vulnerable, but it was so much fun. Mr. Era, hello. Also, hello, Sock. I apologize. I wanted to try and have a coffee in Krakow day and ping you when I was in Poland, but it was just like busy every day. So I didn't even see Krakow till the last day I was there. I was very sad. At least I did get a kebab in Krakow though, so that's the important thing. But yes, next time, coffee, we must. Um, it was just I forgot the name of it. It was kind of a different one. It was more like burrito shaped kebab. Like we usually when I would get kebab when I'm in Poland, it's like the big like bread one where it's kind of like you eat it with a fork for a while and then kind of. This was more just like a compact burrito one, but it was right near town square area, so a small little place there. A Rolo? Is that a Rolo? What's a Rolo? Sorry, I just saw that. There's a name for those. Okay, cool. I gotta tell Aga. A Rolo kebab. We technically had two kebabs that day though. We had a Rolo kebab, and then we were going back home to her family, and her family was already planning on going to pick up kebabs for that evening. So we're like, okay, we'll have two kebabs in one day. Yeah, you only live once. Whoa, this is cool. I like the. Oh my gosh, I love that so much. What's going on? This looks so cinematic. I don't know, with like the depth of field and the angle you got and everything. I love it. Okay, who's winning? Who's winning? Wizards or Penguins? Oh, it doesn't. Oh, I was hoping there would be like a final, a final Grumbledorf versus a final for final Pascal. Like, oh man, I want to see the ending now. You gotta make a new video. Kebab hour with Eric. Yes. Yeah, we should change this up. Well, I don't know if the internet would have been good enough from in Poland. It's definitely like spotty Wi-Fi at Aga's parents' house, so I didn't want to try to broadcast from there or try to screencast from there. I could try it sometime though, and then we could do like Polish kebab with Eric and various other things. Pierogi with Eric. I don't know. Actually, we don't have pierogi there very often. Aga's mom cooks some delicious, amazing Polish food, but we haven't had pierogi too much. Need more maps? Yes, we do. There's no excuse for me. I am. Yes. The one. The one thing I did get done in Poland. I think the update is fully rolled out. It's kind of a minor thing, but for me, it was kind of annoying. Let's see. Ah! Too noisy. Ah! So this is kind of relevant if you're building UIs. If you haven't been keeping track, there's some cool new stuff in recent builds. 1 second, I need to see what I get. Yeah, not bad. Okay. So yeah, for UI people, there's some kind of cool new stuff in recent builds. Like one thing that's like a quality of life improvement, but kind of an important one is if you let's see. There's like an auto save selection thing. That's kind of the big thing, is where like when you go to these windows, it kind of like it saves where your selection is, which is kind of, it's a small thing, but it's pretty annoying when it's not there, in my opinion. So you can bounce around. And also another thing is, like if you're navigating on the bottom with a controller or with keyboard, and you hit like return to bring up settings, and then you hit escape to go back. It's now like properly highlighting settings again. Like that used to not work. It would always like return to highlight something in the main window. And all this stuff is mostly automatic now. So if you're making a UI, you'll see how it works. Basically, you just have to like flip a switch, I think, and say like, hey, I want auto selection save. But yeah, it makes like navigating through the UI with controller or keyboard a lot less painful. especially like, the stuff on the edges here. So kind of happy about that. On a related note, I also, if you haven't noticed, if you bring out the dev console and go to the UI tab, there's now this main window template button. And I did that kind of for myself. I've been doing that in, when I code things. A lot of times I like to make like a template and just like leave that around, and then I use that as a starting point. So I made this main window template, which just kind of shows you how to make like a well-behaved main window. So if you poke that, it'll bring up this guy, which is just like a main window with a few buttons in it. And so the nice thing is this shows how to like make a main window that kind of behaves well. Like you can see it does the right thing in small UI mode. It fits the screen, or in like medium and large, it'll make a window, stuff like that. It also shows you how to like navigate to new ones and back and things like that. So anyway, it's just like it's a well-behaved little snippet of code. So and it shows where it is, I believe. Oh yeah, BAUI blah 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 .template main window. So let's bust that open real quick. So if you go to data, Python, BAUI v1lib, template, there's, oh yeah. And then, yeah, there's a little bit of code here, so it's not too huge, but yeah, this is just kind of an example of a cleanly built window. So if you're wanting to make your own UIs, like this is a good starting point, or at least it tries to explain like what everything does. So anyway, yeah. The next thing I'm going to be working on, or I am working on, but it's not quite wired up, is this Cloud UI test. I think if you poke this now, it'll say like not wired up. But basically that's going to be the replacement store. I thought I'd have this done by now, but I don't. So Cloud UI it's almost like HTML. It's basically where like my server sends a UI to the game. And so then I can basically have the server like change that UI anytime. And so the store is going to use that. That means like we can add new stuff to the store, or do like special things or whatever. It'll make things very open-ended and not hard-coded. But yeah, I'm excited to get that done. So that's going to be what I'm going to jump back in on after the stream today. So anyway, that's a few minor things that are new to the game, UI and polishing bits. Yeah. Did I miss anything in here? Is anyone running into any bugs or things I should be aware of? I've been kind of slacking on following up on things. Is Spaz married to Zoe? That's up to you. It's as I mentioned, I feel like the characters in the game, it's more like actors. That's more just like a cast of appearances, and for each individual minigame or each individual thing, like they can have different relationships with each other. So they could be married. They could be brother sister. They could be arch enemies. Who knows? It depends. So make a minigame and make it what you want. They can't be married and brother and sister, though. There's a few lines we gotta draw. Oh, hello in Mexico. You're just south of me. Can we discuss about this?
Well, speaking of that collab, not quite yet.
Okay, I have the collab. I have to disappoint you one more time. That's literally finishing the collab thing is on my to-do list after the store revamp. Like yes. So hopefully next time I can finally show you what the collab was all about. It's not anything earth-shattering. I just don't want to tell you now before it's done. That would be like anticlimactic. El Gato. Yes, we do need El Gato. Well, very first on deck, once the new store is done, first on deck will be some of Mr. Sock's creations, like Betty.zip, which has been on my desktop here for many moons now. But yeah, that'll be basically the first thing to appear in the new store. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. But El Gato needs to appear at some point. Will there be a story mode? I hope so. I mean, I don't know if there's going to be official story mode for me. I would love to do that. I hope to do that at some point. But again, the point of the game is like people can make their own stories, and I want to evolve things in a way where it's very like clear. Like, okay, you're going to play this particular campaign mode, or this is this particular mode or something. And so like clean places where we can put individual stories for like squads mode, basically. So El Gelato. El Gelato. That sounds like I don't know what I would when you hear El Gelato. Like, what sort of character would you picture? Like a big like fat sumo wrestler type or something. Friday Night Funkin'. What's that? Whoa, cool. Humans discover bombs. Bombs explode. Evil dies in the end. Yeah, that's true. The campaign in the game is a little bit like story mode. I feel like it would. Yeah, we'd have to just like make a new campaign with some sort of like minimal cutscenes in between for story mode. I'm trying to think what would be fun there. It makes me wonder about like open-ended story mode or something. I don't know. I always like the idea of like, Mad Libs. Ever have that where it's like you supply a bunch of verbs and adverbs and names and things, and then it fills in the blanks in some in some stupid story. It's really fun when you're like 7 years old. I almost wonder if like there's some goofy way we could do that with a story or a campaign or minimum thing, or like it somewhat randomly generates it in some way that would still be fun. I don't know. I was talking about my brother was visiting over the weekend, so of course we were talking about video games a lot. We were talking about like randomly generated dungeons and things like that, like in Diablo, how it like randomly generates the dungeon for you, or like the older Diablos. I don't know if the newer ones still do that. Probably. I haven't actually played Diablo recently, but just like the upsides and downsides of things like that, like randomly generating parts of a game versus having it be completely like scripted and handmade. It's like I feel like there's upsides and downsides to either. Very glowy. Cool. Good stuff. Explodinary rebound. Todd McBurton. My brother's name is Todd, so yes, that's where. That's where the placeholder name of Todd McBurton came from. That's another character I still need to add. It's been maybe I mentioned it before, but yeah, I was gonna make a character that's like loosely inspired by. Has anyone seen Big Trouble in Little China? There's a character Kurt Russell plays in there, Jack Burton. He's like this very much just like spoof of like an 80s action hero. So I was going to like make one that's kind of an homage to my brother, but also an homage to Jack Burton. See if I can find... So if you haven't seen Big Trouble in Little China, awesome 80s movie. Takes place right here in San Francisco in Chinatown, so you can see where I live and what kind of stuff I have to deal with daily. Ancient Chinese wizards and things like that. Bomb that just tosses the player, causing no explosion damage. That could be cool. My only worry is that like you would all weaponize it and learn how to like use it to like jump to enemy flags immediately or something. You're also like coming up with cool, awesome workaround I don't want to call them exploits, but yeah, ways to do things that like I didn't think of, building the physics. What if you add variants to skins? I do kind of want to do this too. I feel like that's a big reason for like redoing the store like I'm working on now, and also 1.8 is to be able to do like fun little variations on skins. Something that, it's just like it's not a completely different character or a completely, new thing, but it would just be, yeah, like a fun different take on a character or something. I'll have to figure out how that'll work in terms of like in the store. I know we were talking about this before. Like, would different like skin variations be somehow like categorized under that character, or would it be? Would they all be like side by side? We'll see. We don't have a witch. I was like, yeah, there isn't a witch character yet, is there? A witch that would be another very good Halloween character. I feel like that's very Halloween. I want to vote, but I would skew the results. All right, cool. Hope I didn't skew the results by showing that, but yeah, good old Spaz, classic. Yeah, I'd love to see like what backstories y'all came up with for the characters. If you did, that'd be good. Ooh, a Yeti character, that'd be good. What noise would a Yeti make? Like how like movie creatures and stuff. They always like find a real creature and then like change the sounds a little bit. Like and when I think about a Yeti, it comes out in my head. It sounds like like distant cousin of like Chewbacca or something. Can you understand me? I can understand you. What? Like typing or like I'm confused. Yeah, Jack o' lantern would have been good. There's still technically like what 2 weeks till Halloween. But yeah, probably won't be able to get the new store updated. But well, I always hate estimating how long it's going to take me to do something. But yeah, I don't think I'll have the new store updated and be able to roll out new characters within 2 weeks. Like I could maybe barely get that, but then it would be like one day before Halloween or something. And I feel like there's a sweet spot. Oh, that's cool. I feel like it's good to have characters that are like holiday themed characters, have them out for at least a few weeks or something before the holiday. The one that always trips me up is Easter Bunny. Like every year, because Easter as a holiday it like moves around a lot, so I'm always it catches me off guard. Like I'll notice like, oh crap, it's like a week till Easter and I haven't enabled the Easter Bunny. Christmas at least I can like for Santa and stuff I can at least like set myself an alarm like December 7th or something. Enable Santa. Oh, a gnome character, that'd be cool. Yeah, I would like a gnome character. What is your favorite season? Oh, Easter, Halloween, or ooh, that is a complicated question. Or I feel like I have a complicated answer. I would definitely, I'd probably Christmas. I think just because yeah, the whole like wintry Christmassy vibe, like that's hard to beat. I do love Halloween, but I have to caveat that is that I love Halloween like where I love Halloween not here. Like I'm in California right now, and we don't get much in terms of seasons. So what I love about Halloween is like it's right in the middle of the fall, and so I love that whole, like winter approaching, like leaves changing colors, like fall feeling. Um, where I am right now, I love it here. The weather's great and all that, but we don't really get that so much. So I feel like Halloween doesn't have as big of an impact being in San Francisco than it does like where I grew up, like in Illinois or something like that. So I would say in general, Christmas is my number one, but Halloween can be up there um, in the right place. Easter is generally like springtime feeling. I don't know. Spring is. I appreciate spring. It's lovely, green and nice and pretty and all that. But I feel like I'm more of like a I don't know. Maybe being like an indoor nerdy type. I feel like I like things like winter and fall just because it's like cozy and nice to be indoors. Are you guys the same? Like, is that like a video game nerd or like a computer nerd thing? Just enjoying or like I kind of enjoy when it gets dark earlier, you know, just because then like I don't feel like I should be outside doing cool outside things. I feel like, oh, it's cozy inside. I'm gonna play on my computer. What? Rate my gameplay. What do we got here? Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. Yeah, solid play. Like took you a few throws to get that last guy, but yeah, it's a hard level. So yeah, good job. 3 out of 10. You were harsh. Two. Oh my goodness. I'd give it like a 5 out of 10. I think. So it's like it's solid, it's good, but yeah, there's definitely room to keep working. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean that's the main thing. I'd say a little more aim, like work on like whipping your bombs around, you know, the little circular thing. But in general, good job, good job. Oh, this goes. It's kind of the same thing we were discussing earlier, which is will there be like lore or story mode? Um, and I'm all for that, but I don't think there will be like an official one. I want there to be like individual ones. You know, if you I'd like there to be like a particular campaign or particular story that you can play that involves maybe all the characters. And then there might be another campaign that would involve the characters but that have different roles or something. You know, I want to think it more like building blocks that we can make little stories out of, as opposed to the game itself having like a story. That could be cool for. We talked about like spin-off type games, like literally using like the spin-off system. One that would be fun is like an AR spin-off game, you know, just like Bomb Squad Tabletop, something like that. I could see something more focused like that, having a particular story or being a bit more, you know, specific. But as far as like Bomb Squad itself, like I kind of want to keep it a bit more generalized, you know, so that we can like make whatever out of it. As I've talked about before, it's like it's kind of a choice I've made to just kind of make one game and focus on it and try to improve it and make, you know, work towards making more mini games and kind of more variety within the game, as opposed to you know, making a complete new game. And so that goes along with it, where like I don't want to make the game too specific in terms of stories or in terms of like character dynamics or, you know, special powers or anything like that. I want to keep it a little bit like building blocks, and then we can make like individual things within the game that are more specific, if that makes sense. Um, and yeah, a big part of that is just it saves time for me, like not making a new game and not having like 5 different games to maintain. I don't I don't want to be someone who makes a game and then like lets it just like die or like doesn't update it anymore, or you know it stops running in a few years because the OS runs on a different processor now or something like that, you know. Like I don't want to do that. I hate that when like you have a game that you used to love but then you like at some point you just can't run it anymore. um, that happened with a lot of like early like iPhone games and things like that, where it's like after, you know, when the maybe iPhone, whichever iPhone stopped supporting like 32-bit binaries or whatever, then a lot of these old games like never got updated and just got like lost to history. So that makes me sad. Um, so I don't want that to happen with my stuff if possible. So that's kind of why I'm focusing on, you know, one game with different like mini stories or things within it, as opposed to making like 5 different Bomb Squad games or something. Windows 7 games dying. Oh, is that a thing? Like, are there a lot of games that ran only on Windows 7 but not on 10? I know like Windows is known as being, as a Mac guy, like I know Windows is being like much more backwards compatible friendly than like Mac stuff is kind of bad. I mean, it's not bad, but like Apple, they switch like CPU architectures, or they'll go from 32-bit to 64-bit, and then they don't support 32-bit anymore. They're a little bit more harsh in that they stop supporting old stuff faster, but it always seems like Windows is pretty good at like if you have an old Windows game from bajillion years ago, you can maybe still run it on like your brand new PC. Is that not always the case? Oh, cool. Yeah, yeah, feel free. Like that could be cool to do. I still, it's on my infinite to do list is to finally get a updated version of the remote apps out, using basically spin-off. So it'll basically be using the Bomb Squad engine. It'll just be like a stripped down version of Bomb Squad that is nothing but the remote. So that's still on my to do list. So the don't I mean, do whatever you want, of course, but I'm just mentioning the old Bomb Squad remote Java code base will be kind of, or it's kind of, I would consider it deprecated. But I still appreciate if converting it to Kotlin. I need to convert like the Java layer of Bomb Squad to Kotlin. I think I have a little bit of it, but yeah, I need to learn Kotlin a little bit. It'd be cool. It seems like the way to go now. 1 frames per French Revolution. What? Planning to release Bomb Squad on Steam. Yes, that is. I'm surprised we haven't seen Roadmap Seagull, but that's yeah. 2.0 is the plan for two. Oh, there he is. There he is. Okay, I was like, yeah, you guys are slow. Oh, double Roadmap Seagull, double Roadmap all the way. Yeah, 2.0. The big plan for 2.0 is iOS and Steam. So yeah, basically I need to like finally get things in gear again and finally get 1.8 out the door so then we can get squads mode done, and then finally basically 1.8 wrapping that up. That's all about downloadable assets and all the other little side quests that I've been doing, like the new store that I'm doing right now. Then 1.9 will all be about squads mode, so it's basically going to be like adding an alternative play mode that's just like a modern way to invite friends to your group and then like challenge other groups, or play a simplified way to get into multiplayer online games, kind of pushing the game more in that direction. And then once that's done, 2.0 is just going to be polishing things up and releasing on iOS and Steam. So there's no major new features for 2.0. So it's really like finishing the 1.8 stuff and then squads mode. Those are like the two big things. And there's still, I don't want to, downplay the work to do for 2.0. Like there's still certain things like getting font rendering properly working on Windows. Maybe, I don't know, soundtrack functionality working on Windows or something like that. There's lots of like little bits and pieces and polish and whatever, but there's really not a ton of work. Or implementing like Steam specific stuff like achievements and tying in with Steam APIs for purchases and this and that. So plenty of little bits of work, but nothing like major. The biggest bit of work yet is, there's a little bit of work left in the finishing up the 1.8 stuff with asset pack downloads and things like that. I don't want to say dragging my feet because it's more like side quests have been slowing me down, but that's been taking a while. And then squads mode is probably the biggest remaining single feature. So yeah. Yep. So yeah, long story long. Yeah, sorry. Like I said, hopefully the coffee schedule will be more regular now, at least until the end of the year. I don't think I will be. Maybe the week. I'll maybe be gone the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, whenever that is. That's I think the one Wednesday that I won't be here, but every other Wednesday I should be around. So hopefully we won't have to miss any until Christmas. So we should have a bit of a streak here again. The end of the summer here was just crazy. Like I said, was in Minnesota for a few weeks, and then Poland for a few weeks, then sick for a few days, and then my brother and his wife were here for a weekend, and so Yeah, just like one thing after another, just kind of like throwing my schedule off of regularness. Forsaken? No, I don't think I played Forsaken. Agent has a driving license? Of course Agent has a driving license. Look at him. How could that guy not have a driving license? He has like all sorts of. He has a license to kill. you know, he's, he can like fly planes and stuff. He knows all sorts of things. Yeah, he's good. In my head canon, this is not like official or anything. Once again, like the characters don't have official backstories. This is more just like thinking of the backstory I would give him in a given situation. Oh, Agent Johnson or Hitman, like who would win, sort of thing. Man, that is a hard question. Funny story. My when I first moved to San Francisco, I was staying in the dorm. I was going to Academy of Art College here, as a art school, learn computer graphics and stuff like that. And so we were in this big dorm, which is like a repurposed old mansion originally. They just stuffed the school bought it and stuffed a bunch of students in it. And our RA, like the guy watching over the dorm, he looked exactly like the dude from Hitman. He's just like this bald Irish guy. But he just when the game Hitman like came out, we're like, oh my gosh, that's Colin. That's our RA. So anytime we'd see Hitman, we were always just like, oh, it's the Colin game. But anyway, yeah, who would win, the Hitman guy or Agent Johnson? Huh? I think it'd be a toss up, honestly. Like, yeah, I don't know. I haven't played the Hitman games enough to know like if to really exactly like gauge his Hitman-y goodness. But yeah. Read it again. One sec. I guess I'll work my way down the list here.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50 per person. That's £200 off for a family of 4. We've got millions of free child place holidays available, with 22 kilograms of baggage included. But now, with Jet2 holidays,
Poor Spaz. Very nice, very nice. I would rate it, I don't know, like what, it's on a 10-point scale, 5-point? I'd rate that a solid, well, I don't know if I should give numbers. I feel like giving like a number for a drawing or something is not, but yeah, good stuff, good stuff. Nice. Some solid spin moves you got there. Good stuff. Have you planned to meet up with Bomb Squad fans? I have not. It would be. I would love to do that someday. I don't know, like a PAX event or Gamescom or something like that. That's, I don't know. It's on my bucket list. We should have I don't know, like a meetup. People can like bring mods or something, or I don't know, have a little like mod play session. If y'all have any ideas, what would be fun at like I don't know, some sort of event? I'd love that. More flying, please. Yes, I would like. There's a few game modes that I have in my head. They're really fun, like flying based ones. So I've maybe mentioned before, like 2D space basketball. Basically, like that would be super cool. I feel like just some kind of like Happy Thoughts mode with like basketball, and you're like flying around and like trying to. This very like low grav sort of fun environment, trying to like score baskets. I think that'd be cool. So I'd love to make that at some point, but there's my idea. So if any of you want to make it before I do, go for it, if it's possible. There might be like engine tweaks needing. Respawn sock, please. I said he is ignored. Oh, right, what? Reap? What? So confused. Dandy's World? No, I've not played Dandy's World. What? Yeah, someone has to describe what Dandy's World is. I've not played Roblox either. I'm very familiar with Roblox, but I've not really played it. Is there is Roblox just like every experience is different, or do you feel like if you play one Roblox thing, you've kind of like gotten the feel of it? You know what I mean? Because I know Roblox as being this thing where like everyone makes their own games out of it, and there's like bajillions of experiences as they call them to avoid uh, Apple charging them extra for labeling them as games or whatever. There's funny workarounds. Um, but yeah, I've not taken a close look at Roblox. Come back. Come back? I am back. Am I not here? I see this. Oh no! Oh no! It's like, I love it. It's like the hydraulic press video. We have to deal with it. Is that guy still around? The hydraulic press guy? Like, oh no. A wild whatever has appeared. We have to deal with it. Yeah, everyone post videos. Go for it. Any advice for someone just starting out on game development? I've started to learn Unity. That's probably a good place to go. Like I'm a little bit. I feel like I'm not best at giving advice for someone starting out right now because like when I was starting out, like Bomb Squad for me, it wasn't the first thing I'd started on, but it was pretty early. Um, and at the time there was no Unity. This was like 2004, so you know eons ago. And there was no Unity, and I think Unreal Engine was still like AAA only. You know, you had to pay like $200,000 to license it or something. So just like rolling my own thing was kind of the only option, really. I'm sure there was some small other options, but and I'm happy I did that. I love just like building things and building little simple engines and stuff like that. So, but I would say, yeah, if you're really wanting to get going in game development, Unity does seem like a good place to start. I wouldn't suggest trying to roll your own engine unless that's really something interesting to you. So yeah, I don't have any specific advice aside from that. I don't think. I guess my one other bit of advice I've mentioned before is don't aim too high when you start. You know, try to make something simple. I think what I've found works best for me is to like get something playable, make something simple and playable, and then like add to it or revise it. Um, the very first thing I started trying to do before Bomb Squad was I was like, oh, I'm going to write this little engine, and then I'll make something out of the engine. And I never actually got the engine to a point where I started making something. It was just like this black hole of time. So it's like what worked then with Bomb Squad after that was like, okay, forget this engine. I'm just going to make something really simple and crappy that I can play with my friends like next weekend when we have a Halo party, you know, something like that. And that worked well. So just trying to get something out the door, you know, even if it's simple, trying to get something that's actually playable. So again, just yeah, don't aim too high. Don't have too like lofty of in the future goals. I mean, for me, this is still even a problem. Like as you all can see with trying to trying to get like 1.8 out the door and stuff like that. I definitely like add too many features and go on too many side quests. It's hard to like hold yourself to deadlines. But yeah, I would say that's just be aware of that is try to get something out the door. Try to like hold yourself to like, okay, I want something playable by such and such date or as soon as possible or whatever. Yeah, if you want to ping Mickey Rog if he's around. Haven't talked to Mickey Rog in a while. Oh no. Well. It is always nice to talk to Mickey Rog, but yeah, we do tend to. It does kind of that becomes the whole thing. But that's okay. I enjoy the discussions. But yeah, I definitely like. We do kind of go down discussion rabbit holes. I suppose I should be better at like chopping the stream into like, now we're going to discuss this topic for 20 minutes. Then we're going to move on to this topic or whatever. But I keep things more freeform. Oh, this poor guy. I love it. The power of Gloria and Eric's coffee. What's your favorite character? I don't know if I have a favorite character. I was playing, when we were in Poland, I was playing some Bomb Squad with our little nephew. He's like 5 years old. And of course, he loves playing video games. So he'd always be like, he doesn't speak English really, but he knows enough to say like, Eric, play. Like, Eric, play. So anyway, we'd be playing some Bomb Squad and I'd be switching up characters. I got me thinking about that. Like, who is my favorite character? I didn't find myself gravitating to anyone in particular. I jumped around a bit, which made me happy. Because I kind of, in a way, like, I probably don't want to have a favorite character, like one that is way cooler than the others or that I like way more. Yeah, so that's kind of a non-answer, but I would say, yeah, thankfully I don't really have a favorite character. There's probably some I avoid maybe a little bit more than others. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't know. Answer me, please. What was the... Oh, okay. Ultra Squad. Upload modified Bomb Squad application to the store. Probably have them ping me offline. That would depend on like what it includes, like what original Bomb Squad it includes, or I'd want to at least, if something is on a store official like that, like I'd probably want to, I don't know, at least have some sort of basic like contract in place or something like that, just to, yeah. But yeah, that's probably not something I can answer right now. I'd probably want to just like talk about that directly. Of course, there's also the fact that the game is open source for the most part. So if it's not, I don't know what it includes of original Bomb Squad assets like textures and things, but if it is technically possible if someone wants to take the source code from GitHub, build your own game with your own assets and upload that. Like I have, I legally have no no say in that. But if it does include like Bomb Squad assets or like the precompiled plus stuff, then yeah, please talk to me. So I just have them email me or try to ping me offline here or something. How did you study programming though? Yes, I was super weird in that I did go to school I went to art school here. I was a big nerd in high school, like I was on the math team and all that stuff, and I took like one simple programming class in high school. That was way back in the day. It was like Pascal, which is a language that is like long since dead, basically. So most of my coding, I just like learned myself in college as like on the side, which is super weird. I feel like you usually think of someone like learning traditional like math and science stuff in college and then like doing art on the side for fun. I was kind of the opposite. I was like learning art in college, and then in my spare time I would be just like coding and nerding out on all that stuff. So yeah, I'm pretty much mostly self-taught on the programming side, which is good and bad. I feel like there's some really dumb things I've done because I kind of taught myself. Yeah, if you like, for instance, transform matrices like that. That's a big part of like 3D graphics. If you ever delved into that, like 4x4 matrices and stuff like that, and how to work with them. I had no idea how to work with them. I just sort of like cobbled together things, like figuring it out as I went, and I was doing some really dumb stuff. And then even when after art school, I got hired at Pixar, and I was like writing stuff at Pixar using this like really bad like 4x4 matrix math that I just kind of taught myself, and I'm kind of embarrassed that like some of that like actually lived on there for a while. I eventually like slowly like learned the right way to do things, but yeah, that was a downside of being self-taught, is like I did learn some really bad practices in some cases. But in the end of the day, I finally, I think I learned more the right way to do them. But it probably would have been beneficial in some way to have had, more of like a CS, computer science background for some of those things. But art school background it was really nice to. I mean, I learned a lot at art school too, so it's hard to say like what the best way to learn would have been. Like I could have gone the computer science route and then like done art on the side, or the way I did was go the art route and then learn the computer stuff on the side. Yeah, so it worked for me. I don't know if it's better than the other path would have been. But yeah, if that's at least hopefully inspiring or whatever, that it is possible to kind of like learn programming and stuff on your own, especially nowadays with, man, like ChatGPT and stuff. Like I love that. I'm always asking ChatGPT programming questions. Even though, obviously you got to be aware that it'll give you nonsense sometimes, but man, that is so much easier than like trying to pour through Stack Overflow every time I need to learn something, Do you guys feel the same? Do you feel like I feel like, as scary as AI is in some ways, I feel like it's great for learning. Like I love it. Awesome. No, that is inspiring to me to hear that. Um, yeah, I hope. It does make me feel good. Like if I can give something back to the community, because I feel like I've used so much open source stuff, and at times like it's easy to feel like a leech, just like, oh, like I'm using all this code that someone else wrote, and I'm pulling it into my own stuff and making cool things out of it. So I hope there's a little bit of the opposite happening. I hope people are able to, either be inspired by this stuff or recycle bits of my code or whatever. Yeah, it's helps keep me going. Oh, really? Is that a torrenting term? I just, yeah, I think leech is just a general term for like taking without giving back. That's the usage I was implying. Um, though for me, oh, this is cool. Sorry. Oh, I like that. I love stuff with it. Like this has a very, like this is great. I feel like you don't notice edges. There's a few where you can see like, okay, that's kind of a poly edge. But in general, I mean, to me, this looks like clay, which is great. So like yeah, well done. I'd love to, I mean, I'm sorry I'm so slow, but I really am excited to get to the point with asset packs and things where people can be like sharing maps and stuff easily. I'd love to, I think it'd be fun to just have like, hey, let's all like critique each other's maps. um, because yeah, I do want to kind of move towards a place where it's like a bunch of community maps and things like that. But I also want to have it be kind of curated, something where it's like, okay, let's try to have them all kind of look not the same, but maintain like a similar quality standard, or have that like kind of natural clay look, things like that. So I'd love to get to a point where we can like, yeah, critique each other's maps, give each other feedback, just like, oh, this looks great, but this part looks a little polygony or whatever. Also, I'd love to have that feedback on the other end. I found that's working at Pixar and stuff. I remember that, realizing like how important that is sometimes, is just getting your work in front of somebody else, even if they're not the same type of artist as you are or something. Just like seeing what fresh eyes see when they see your work, because whenever you're working on something, you could be an amazing artist, but if you're working on the same thing for like days and days at a time, like you become blind to things. It just like you don't see the flaws anymore sometimes. At least I find that happens with me. But I think it happens with everyone. And then like the one way to see those flaws is to like ask someone fresh, to be like, hey, what are your first thoughts on this? And be like, oh, this left arm looks weird on this drawing or something like that. So it is very useful to just get feedback from someone, or get a pair of fresh eyes, as they say. So that's why I think it'd be great to. I'd love to get to a point where we could all, be building stuff and sharing stuff and giving each other feedback. Ooh, get like modding system. Cool. Yeah, I'd love to hear more about that. Modding system manager. I mean, in general, it would be great. Yeah, I'd love to hear what you're working on, details of it. It does seem like, yeah, modding in general is a little bit, yeah, not well fleshed out now, or it seems like we could make it better. Yeah, that'd be great. Or if you have any feedback, I mean, we could improve the plugin system too, but yeah, let's chat about it, see where it's going. But I'd be happy to wrap in stuff like that from the community. The idea of like mod managers and things in general. Like I've always wondered, not always, but I do wonder if it would make sense to have some of that more built in, or make it easier to kind of for people to get started with mods. So yeah, we can discuss that whole idea. At some point, I'll have to tread a little carefully. I know I've mentioned that, I don't want to run afoul of like various app stores that, they might not want you to bundle, like, or I know like on Apple app stores, there's a specific rule, like all code the game runs has to be included with the game, because they want to be able to like review the game and make sure it's not a Bitcoin miner or something like that. So including something where it's very easy to like download code that affects the game. I imagine that's probably okay, but just wanting to make sure. I guess the worst case though is like some platforms could not include that by default, and you'd have to like go out of your way to add it, and that wouldn't be the end of the world. But just wanting to make sure we're. It'd be curious too, like if there were like a Switch port or something like that, or like consoles, like do they have more strict rules about like you cannot download executable code as part of your game or something? If Python is, whatever Python is considered to them. It's weird. All this stuff is technically it's like a fuzzy line, because essentially, when you connect to a multiplayer server, you're downloading a bunch of ones and zeros from that server that tell the game what to do. It's a very well-defined specific set of commands, but still it's technically not different from downloading Python code. It's a bunch of symbols and whatever that tell your computer what to do. It's just more focused. So when there's rules that say like you can't download code that tells your app what to do, it's like that's what a multiplayer game is technically. But you can kind of see like what they mean. Like they don't want you to be downloading something that like replaces your app with a completely different app, or that turns your seemingly innocent game into like a Bitcoin miner. Cool. Yeah, can you shoot me like a link? I do vaguely remember, I think, if you can shoot me a link and stuff, I'd love to like just check what you'd be submitting. But yeah, I feel like we should do that offline, if you can do it in a DM, or just shoot me a message at support@frumling.net or wherever else. But yeah, in general, I want to be supportive of indie projects and stuff. Even if you're putting it up on a store, like it'd probably just be prudent to have, like I said, just some sort of like, I don't know, simple contractual agreement there or something like that. Just so then also, like if the store asks you like, hey, do you have the rights to this stuff? You can point and be like, hey, look, Eric says I can do this. Whoa, jeez. What is Warrior in game files? He is just spaz. Yes, he is. So, yeah, some of you've probably heard this before, but there's a number of like placeholder characters in the game, which right now they're just like low-res versions of Spaz. But the reason that they're there is so that I could basically swap out the assets for those placeholder characters in new builds of the game and then start using them. And then old builds of the game will they'll already have those like Spaz placeholders. So if that means if there's a game that's using like the new warrior character or something that gets filled out, then an old game will still be able to communicate with that version of the game. It's just that warrior character will be Spaz. Does that make sense? So it's basically, it was just a way to add, kind of get ready to add new characters without actually adding them yet. And that will kind of, as of version 1.8, that should no longer be necessary because the game will be smart enough to like download characters on the fly, download things on the fly. But for now, it's still useful. I'll probably be doing that for a few characters, like cough cough Betty, cough cough, before 1.8 happens. So yeah, hopefully that all makes sense. But yeah, that's what all those placeholders are. There's nothing special about them right now. It's more just like character ideas. Is Betty alive? I think you fed her. Well, she's in her cryo box here, which I think she's in cryo sleep, so she doesn't require sustenance. I should check though. You know, these cryo sleep can go bad sometimes, as we've seen in I think Alien 3. Show her icon epically. Oh, I don't know if I have. Oh, it is. I don't know if I want to like unzip this. I'll unzip a copy. I think it leaves the original. There we are. There's Betty. In all of her clay glory. Okay. Merp. Merp. So yeah, she's doing fine. Cryo sleep it's working. Can you confirm Bomb Squad 1.8 on 2025 end? I hope so. I'm realizing there definitely should have been another number in between 1.7 and 1.8 because there's been so like many side quests during the course of 1.7. But then I don't know, like we still want 2.0 to be like the big one, you know, so I don't know. Be like 1.7 point. Yeah, I'm not sure how. Yeah, in retrospect, should have done that a little bit differently, but it is what it is. So yeah, I got the store side quest. I still want to do, still want to fix, what was it? The multiplayer server. That's also a side quest. I'd love to finish up the Discord integration stuff, but I don't know. I might punt on that to get 1.8 out the door. We'll see. I mean, some of the stuff, like a decent amount of this stuff has been things that'll be necessary for 1.9. Like a lot, the UI revamp, a lot of that, like that's basically necessary for like squads mode. So everything's a little bit fuzzy. Spoofing players, mostly admins, V2 ID. Okay, so what they're probably doing, I think this should be fixed. So when we say spoofing the V2 ID, I think they're probably spoofing their V1. This is going to be like stupid technical, but it is possible to spoof V1 accounts. And so they're probably spoofing the V1 portion of someone's V2 account. So when you're signed in with V2, you're actually signed in with two accounts. You're signed in a secure way with your V2 account. But then it also like gives you a V1 account that is associated with that V2 account, and you're also signed in with that. And currently, multiplayer servers only look at the V1 stuff, which means it is possible unfortunately, to spoof that stuff sometimes. So that's probably what's happening is someone is spoofing the V1 side of someone's V2 account. With number 2 on my to-do list is revamping the multiplayer server list, and with that, probably revamping what info servers get for players. And at that point, they will only get V2 info. So at some point in the near future, like if you're making a server, you're only going to be dealing with V2 accounts. So there's no more like PB IDs and all that stuff, because that's the stuff that's insecure. So yeah, I'll try to get there as fast as I can. Sorry, I'm slow. But yeah, at some point soon, once everything is dealing with V2, like actual V2 info, it should be secure. As far as I know, there's no. I think I'm doing security correctly for V2 accounts. There are no exploits that I'm aware of. Yeah. So yeah, I apologize if someone is. If there's anything I can do, like in a slight way to alleviate someone spoofing V1 stuff, let me know. But yeah, my current plan is just to get that new server list done and get everything on V2, so everything is nice and secure. It's once again, this has definitely been a lesson I've learned. I mean, I don't know if it's a lesson actually. Is like when I wrote the game, I didn't know anything about security. I didn't know anything about like SSH stuff and public and private keys and all this stuff. And sort of just made up some crappy security as I went. And it turns out crappy security doesn't work very well. So I feel like this has been the right way to go about it, is to kind of just like re-engineer it as V2 and do it in a secure way and then slowly migrate everything to V2. It's been a long process, so I apologize that you've all had to like deal with this spoofing and stuff for a while, but we are every day we're getting closer to a proper secure state of the world. Yeah. But yeah. And in general, this is kind of a downside of my strategy of having, like one game and just updating it eternally, is that there is some like really old, really crappy technology in there that is slowly being replaced by decent technology. And that includes V1 accounts. So yeah. So in a way, it probably would have been faster to just make like a Bomb Squad 2 with a whole new account system or something. But this works. This is getting the job done. And there's probably upsides too, is that like, there won't be like a Bomb Squad 1 that is completely bug-ridden and insecure and like abandoned. So this way, we'll keep all the old stuff, or at least everything that's still in there now should remain in there into the far future. Would we want to? Is that something we could plan on for next time? Or I mean, would it be something you could demo? I feel like I'm nervous to like try to, I'd be nervous to try to demo it myself. I always find like when I'm during streaming, my brain power goes down to like 50% because like half of me is, half of my brain is focused on just like talking and various things. So I'm not very good at like trying to wrangle. Like new stuff. But yeah, if it's something you could demo, like I'm all for it. Or otherwise, why don't we plan on doing a demo of it like first thing next time or something? I could take a look between now and then. And yeah, I think Zoe and Spaz can totally be a couple in some contexts. Yeah, they're both, they have like similar. They're wearing similar armor and stuff, which implies that they're squad mates or something, or teammates of some sort. Or so yeah, this could work. Yes, this is. It's been a long time. Did you watch Murder Drones? Is that video about like scary technology, like drones that can blow up on people's heads or something? Oh, animation series. Okay. No, I have not. Oh, I love this drawing, by the way. So, is that your character? It's like super cute. Cyberpunk Edgerunners. No, I did not. Ugh. I feel like a slacker every time you're asking me, did you see this? Did you see this? No, nope, nope. Oh, weird. Okay. This, don't have more than... Is this still happening, Mr. Sock? Is this like, if you sign into the game, is it still telling you you have 17,000? There, I mean, new... Like, the account situation is kind of funny in newer cases because accounts... basically, your account inventory is now stored on the V2 server. If you're playing a newer version of the game, if you're playing an older version of the game, it's still stored on the V1 server. So as long as you're running like a recent version of the game, it should be doing the right thing and showing you and interacting with your V2 server account. There could be some weird case where like if you're launching old versions and new versions similarly in time that you're seeing incorrect stuff. I'm trying to just make it so that it works correctly if you're running a new version of the game. Like older versions of the game, I'd like that to work correctly too, but I could see there being some weirdness there. So if you have like a reproducible test case or something, like I can try to get that fixed on the old ones, or I'd be happy to take a look at your account. It could just be like, I could see like your V2 inventory having a certain amount of tickets and your V1 having like the different amount, and maybe you're seeing the wrong one of those, you know? Again, I'm happy to look into it. My biggest concern is that people running the latest version of the game are seeing the right thing, like I said, but I'd love it to work everywhere, obviously. It's just, it's it's kind of an ugly, complicated scenario right now, because like on the older version of the game, like it's talking to the V2 server, but then the V2 server has to ask the V1 server, like, hey, what's the V1 version of this account have? And so, you know, there's a lot of places where it could get wires crossed. Or yeah, it could be, could be a visual bug maybe too, yeah. If, yeah, basically if you want to do it, like message me offline or we can do a send info. I could check out how many tickets or tokens or whatever are in your actual account and see if that lines up with what you're seeing. If it doesn't, then that could just be a bug in like the visual display stuff for that build of the game. Oh, okay. I'll try to remember to check it right after this. And so you sent your info, what version of the engine did you send that with? Just so I know. Unable to add music in my phone. Right now, the music stuff is very much, unfortunately, specific to that device. So if you make a soundtrack on like your phone, you won't be able to use that same music like on your Windows PC or vice versa. It would be interesting at some point to generalize that, but I would have to like copy that music into the cloud or something. Yeah, it would theoretically be possible, maybe, but Right now, like yeah, the soundtrack. If you're setting up a custom soundtrack on Android, it's using Android specific stuff to play those files. And like if you set up a custom soundtrack on Mac, basically it just asks you for like a music app playlist. So it's kind of specific to that particular Mac music app. So that stuff is not like it doesn't translate across. Like I said, it could be possible to with particular file types, we could make it possible to make a soundtrack that would just like be stored in the cloud with your account. That would be super cool. It's just not how it works at the moment. Cool. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, we should. Yeah, if you want to send me IP import, I'd love to hop on and check it out. I know it makes no sense. There's a Mac version, but not an iPhone version. There's everyone. That's always the biggest question. Like when people ask me about the game, is like, why is there no iPhone version? Or like what the heck, Eric? And the historical reason for that is because I wrote the game. Well, I wrote it on a Mac, so I released the Mac version originally. So that was originally the only version of the game. And then I was porting to mobile and wound up releasing on Android, but not yet on iPhone for kind of specific technical reasons because I released it on the Ouya, which is an Android-based micro console that came out in 2013. And then Google saw that and asked me about getting it on Android TV because they were about to release Android TV. So I did that, and then at the same time, it wound up just like on all of Google Play, which wasn't necessarily intentional. I was still wanting to kind of maybe just release it on Android TV, but then eventually release it on mobile. But it just wound up how it wound up. So it's on Android, but still not yet on iOS. On Android and Mac, but not on iOS. And everyone's like, why is it not on iOS? And the reason I always give is like there's even though there's fewer downloads these days, but not that fewer, there's still like a lot of organic downloads. So it's basically being a solo developer. There's like more downloads right now would not help me. It would almost hurt me, or like more platforms to debug. So as I'm working towards 2.0, it is kind of beneficial to have basically just Android is the big platform. So it's like it's less bugs to deal with, less support to deal with. I know I'm super slow, but it lets me work a little bit faster. I feel like 2.0 will be kind of hopefully somewhat of a solid place. Like all the network infrastructure will be in place, the squads infrastructure, the downloading infrastructure, like all that stuff. So at that point, I feel like it's safer to release on different platforms and deal with more bugs and stuff because there won't be as much moving at that point. Even though I have been making people wait for 475 years or whatever it's been. Collaboration it's been delayed. I should have been done with it by now, but it's still on. I'm hoping I can finally mention what it was, I think, next time. The one, it is, I would say that is number 2 on my list, on my to-do list. Number 1 is store revamp, so I can get Betty and other things in there. Number 2 is finish that collaboration. Number 3 is probably server list revamp / V2 accounts for servers. So getting rid of those PBID vulnerabilities and things like that. So yeah, that's my. I know that's kind of 3 substantial things, but that's what I will be working on. Yeah, as soon as we're done here. Custom character on public server is, what I would suggest, there's no way right now, until 1.8, there's no way to add a custom character that everyone will see when they join that server. I would say the best you could do is hijack one of the existing placeholder characters. So if you want to make a custom character, just replace all of like the stand-in stuff. So if you go to Badata texture or Badata meshes, all the unused ones, which right now it's just SPAZ basically, copies of SPAZ. So there's like opera singer, old lady, warrior, all that. I would say replace those with your custom character and like hack your game a little bit so that you can use that character. And then people will still be able to join your public server, but if they don't have those files, they will just see like spaz. Yeah, if they haven't gotten like your custom files, that'd be my thought. Is that'd be one way to add some custom characters to your server without basically crashing anyone who joins it. Because if you add custom modded stuff like my character dot Bob or whatever, then anyone who joins your server that doesn't have my character dot Bob, like their game will, or it'll bounce them out of the server. So so yeah, using those placeholders, that would be a good way to allow your server to be joined by normal people. But anyone who does, has manually installed your character files will see your characters, if that makes sense. 1.8 this year. I certainly hope so. But I can't say for sure. So many side quests. Now, Steam does seem to be pretty awesome. I'm looking forward to getting the game on Steam. Also, I think it'll be a better fit. I mean, I'm happy with Android and all the people playing it on Android, but it is kind of I mean, I guess probably the best fit would be, I would say, like the Nintendo Switch or something, playing it on a TV with a few friends. It was kind of designed for that experience. But I think Steam is close. You can pretty easily play with a few controllers on a Steam PC or something. What? Oh, I love it so much. Oh, boy. Oh. Oh, boy. Okay, I got to screenshot that. Okay, thank you. I'm keeping that forever. So slow at work. What's this? You won't own Bomb Squad again? Nintendo? Do people hate Nintendo? I mean, I sort of I sort of follow them in the news in terms of like them clamping down on like random projects and stuff. Do they have are they like disliked for that, or is there oh, they'll steal your game? Oh, you're saying like they'll steal the concept, or they'll actually steal the game, like Kill Me in the Night and Bomb Squad will just suddenly be Nintendo's. Aw, dang. It's fascinating to see there's a lot of like Steam love and then Nintendo hate. Kind of like how do we feel about like Sony? Where are they on the list? Are they good? Are they evil? Are they neutral? Yeah, I'm sorry to hear about this. This is what I was talking about earlier. Is I think that's they are probably spoofing the PBIDs, which is basically the V1 side of those accounts. Number 3 on my to-do list is upgrading servers to use V2 accounts, like actually the secure part of the V2 account. That should finally solve that problem. So sorry that it feels a little bit like this whole situation feels a little bit like exiting a sinking ship, like the V1 accounts, that would be the sinking ship. We're all trying to like get onto the V2 lifeboats. I know it seems like they're spoofing V2 accounts, but they're actually, like I said, they're spoofing the V1 part, the V1 account that is associated with the V2 account. So the V2 accounts themselves are not being like hacked or anything. It's just the way servers currently look at them is insecure. Yuck. Don't sell it. Oh, I don't plan on selling the game. Don't worry. I've had I've had offers, people buying the game or this or that, but like I don't know what I would do without the game. It's like it's my thing. It's my some people like this question does come up, like how much would you sell the game for? And it's like I mean, if someone like literally offered me like $1 billion, it's like who's going to say no to $1 billion? But no one's going to offer $1 billion. But basically, like for me, the game is like my passion and I love working on it. And if I didn't have that, like I don't know, I'd have to like completely rethink my life. Like so at the moment, yeah, I have zero plans to sell the game or anything like that. And yeah, I mean, there's a trust thing too. It's like I hopefully you guys trust me at this point. And also, I want it to not be a trust thing though. That's part of the reason I've been trying to open source the game slowly but surely. Aside from the bits that keeping closed for secureness, that I'd love it to get to a point where like if I did become a jerk and like sold the game and filled it or yeah, sold a game to a company that's gonna fill it with like crypto miner. I don't know, some sleazy thing. Think of like the sleaziest thing I could do with the game. If that did happen, I would love it to be out at a point where, the open source bits could be forked into, something that is still a pure and, decent game. So yeah, it's kind of like trying to thread a needle there. It's like I don't want to open source everything too much or make it so like anyone could just fork the master server in the game and like I lose control of stuff. I still want to be able to like steer the game, but I also don't want to be able to like kill the game even if I turn evil, if that makes sense. Okay, so out of the consoles, who is the best? Who is the best console? I guess all that's left is Xbox, but I keep reading stories about how like stores are pulling Xbox from. Is Microsoft like pivoting away from like Xbox hardware completely, or do you guys know anything about that? Which that would make me sad because I still like my favorite. I have lots of fond memories of playing Halo on like Xbox 360, and Xbox controllers are still I think my favorite form factor. Ouya. Yes, bring back the Ouya. Dang, okay. So Steam and Steam Deck, is that the is that the one like pure console at this point? I will like once we get it on Steam, I will definitely want to take a pass, make sure it runs like I know they have that like verification system or whatever where it says like this runs well on Steam Deck. So I would certainly want to get that. Okay. Yeah, it seems. I mean, from what I hear, it seems like Steam is a unique situation where, yeah, it's not like a publicly owned company, and they're kind of like they generally seem to like just do the right thing. So it goes back to that like trust idea we're talking about. Um, it seems like all the others, yeah, Sony, Nintendo, everyone else is just like big giant companies that are going to be viciously trying to make money in some cases or whatever, and nothing else. And so yeah, good job, Steam. You tried Team Fortress 2? Yeah, I've played Team Fortress 2 a few times. I love the art style and all that. Old game now at this point, but yeah, I've played it a bit. Oh, answer me this. Boink, boink, boink. Oh my gosh. See if I can click on it. Boom. What do you mean about server statistics since we use it to put... does Nintendo have like very strict rules about like server statistics or something? I'm curious how all that works in general. I know like with Nintendo, like there's their online... You pay extra for like online functionality, right? Or how does that work? Like would I have to limit online play to only people who've paid for that? Or is it like can games offer their own online functionality? Do you all know how that works? That is the one, like, it does seem that default Steam games are theoretically a little scary in that I think they're, like, not sandboxed and stuff these days, right? So, like, if you get a theoretically, if you downloaded something from Steam, it could like delete all your files or something, right? Or am I misunderstanding the state of the world? Because most things, like if you download a game on Android, it's sandboxed, or like most modern platforms are sandboxed to where even if the game is malicious, it can maybe mess with whatever it has access to, but it won't have access to most things. Like it can't, like delete everything else off of your phone. It could probably just, I don't know what it could do. If it could like delete your cloud files, it would probably have to ask permission to do that, I guess. But it seems like, from what I understand, like Windows or Steam in general is still a little bit more like free for all, where a game could, in general, do more damage if it wanted to. Am I incorrect in thinking that? Okay. Yeah, something like this. Apologies for not if I haven't responded. This would be a good thing to try to get in for 1.8. Like we can add options like that to disable flashes if people want. I mean, maybe it would make sense. Maybe we could do it before then. If that's just a local setting, actually, we could probably do that anytime. If anyone's interested in doing that, like for disable flashes, stuff like that, like I'm guessing right now that the right place for that would just be like an advanced setting. We have various things here, and like disable camera shake. You could do like a disable bright flashes or something like that. Almost like an accessibility settings. So we could add a setting here, and then just the stuff that draws those flashes, it would just like check that setting. It'd be pretty easy to do. Again, I'm pretty swamped with things right now, so I probably won't be doing that soon. But if someone wants to make a PR, I'm happy to take a look or give feedback on how to do that right. You could probably basically copy, like literally copying, I think disable camera shake. That would be a good, if you wanted to add some sort of accessibility feature like that, yeah, I would take a look at disable camera shake, because that carries on through to actual gameplay, like low level stuff. It stores a setting, and then the renderer like reads that setting, and then it applies it when it's rendering stuff. It doesn't shake. So this would be a very similar thing. It would be like storing a setting, the renderer reads that setting, and then it would not draw flashes in those cases. So yeah, I'd be totally open to adding something like that if y'all would find it useful, which sounds like you would. Real Shadows when? That would be something for like renderer improvements, which I would love to do, but it's not super high on the priority list. Maybe, I mean, I should probably not do that until 2.0, I think. Just because anything I would absolutely love to spend like 3 months and make the renderer like modern, like super modernized. But that's also 3 months that 2.0 is delayed, So in general, yeah, I would love to revisit rendering, visual effects, all that, make like a nice, more modern renderer, get some, normal mapping in there, other fancy stuff, or ray tracing, who knows. But that's one of those things where I'm like telling myself like, oh, I shouldn't do that. Anything about Xbox split screen game? What do you mean by that? Aw. Still good image. Love it. What? How are you planning on updating schedules after 2.0, like seasonals or just like how it is? That is a good question. Like I really have no plans after 2.0. Not that I'm going to abandon the game or anything like that. I'll just have to like rethink it as it gets close. Like for me, that's like 2.0 is yeah, I mean, there will definitely be life after 2.0. It's more just, yeah, I like for me, everything is like up to 2.0 and then after 2.0. That's a big kind of question mark. it's like, it's like the return of Christ, you know? It's like that is, don't think about things after that or something. It's just like this singular big event on the horizon that I'm working towards. Um, but there is plenty. Like there's so many things I'd love to work on that I'm dumping into the post 2.0 bucket. You know, just like it still would be nice to get the game on consoles if that's not going to cause any major problems. I'd love to do that. I'd love to do a major like graphics rework. Um, I don't know, lots of other stuff. Like basically, like I said, anything that doesn't. I mean, there's been plenty of side quests in 1.7, but um, whenever possible, I like to put things in the post 2.0 bucket. Yeah, emotes would be super cool. I'd love to, like that would be fun. We'd have to think of like if we want to expand the control scheme or something like to add emotes. We brought this up before, but the game is designed around basically 4 action buttons and a D-pad or analog stick. Like, would we want to add more buttons? Or maybe like emotes. Maybe it would just be like you could still play the game with those 4, and things like emotes would just be like optional. If you're playing on a keyboard or a controller with more buttons, you can assign those, or maybe it's assigned by default. Like that could be the way to go around it. Because there's still the question of playing with like the phone app controller. Like you don't want to have tons of buttons. You can't really have like trigger buttons or things like that on a phone app controller. So we should kind of limit ourselves to what can be done there, but it doesn't mean like we don't want more stuff. Though I guess something like emotes, like that could work on the phone app. Just having like an emote button up in the corner or something. Like there's nothing wrong with that. It's more just like I guess run buttons wouldn't work well on there. That's kind of why I had it like hold any button to run, is so that the phone app would work reasonably. But anyway, yeah, lots of questions in terms of like what we should expand on the controls front. There's dedicated Bomb Squad arcade. That would be fun too. Honestly, like that is another thing that I would love to do. Have any of y'all seen or played Killer Queen? I'm curious, is that just a thing around here or is that elsewhere too? There's let me look it up. I think it's like 2 guys that had made, it's like a little indie group. They made this game called Killer Queen. And it shows up in like, oh yeah, of course we're gonna get the Queen song. But yeah, it's like these arcades. Like they basically make these arcades. It's like 6-on-6 arcades. They have like giant TV screens. And it's just like this big 2D match. And it's really fun. And they have them in like bars and places. I see them around San Francisco. I've seen them somewhere else I saw it recently. Was that it? Where was that? I saw it somewhere like surprising. But anyway, yeah, that seems kind of like that would be kind of cool, just like focus on making a fun arcade experience. But that would be a complete like side quest, a super side quest. Like I feel like you'd want to. I'm sure it'd be fun to like adapt Bomb Squad to like an arcade experience or something, but I feel like I'd want to dedicate like a year to that. So I don't know if that's going to slot in anywhere. Or I guess you could make like just an arcade version that's basically just Bomb Squad, like slightly. Like there was that arcade company, II Arcade, if you remember. It's in the background of my old office. So it used to be in the background of videos, but now I've been recording in a different room since I moved. But yeah, there was this company making II Arcade stuff. Or yeah, this company making like arcades that you could play old games on. And yeah, Bomb Squad was a launch title on there, so that was super cool. But it was just basically regular Bomb Squad. It wasn't like a special version made for arcades. Like I feel like it'd be super cool to make something that was like geared to be like an arcade style game. Just. Oh, what was the... Merp. Oh. Yeah, there's lots of factors there. I mean, one, I admittedly spend too much time on, engine updates and kind of low-level stuff, and I should be spending more time on adding content and things like that, but there's kind of a reason for it, and I really do think it'll pay off at some point. Like, I think 1.8 will be a big turning point, or not a turning point, but a inflection point. Um, Once people can add stuff to the game pretty easily that is seen by other people, I think all of this time will start to become worth it. It's just like it. Up until now, it kind of probably seems like like what's going on. Ooh, bug. Oh no! Oh no! Ah, yes. Um, yeah, that's the thing with. I mean, I guess you could call it a bug. Basically, what's happening in the 2D games is like I forgot what it is, like a spring force or something that's basically pushing everything in the Z axis or whichever axis that is to try to stay on a flat plane. But it's not like an unbreakable force. So if you hit something with a strong enough force, you can kind of push it away from that plane temporarily. That seems to be what's happening there. Like the flag got pushed away from the plane, so it falls down. Because it's still, even in 2D mode, it's still a 3D game. It's still like the characters are all on 3D rigid bodies, 3D physics happening. So probably the fix for that would be to increase the force that is pulling things, towards that plane. There's always the chance though that would like break something else. And if this isn't happening constantly, I would say it's probably not worth trying to fix. But yeah, that's the curse of physics-based games is like it's never going to be perfect. It's like going to be hopefully as close as you can get it, but it's never going to be 100%. What's going on here? so many internet videos are just so like random. Very fascinating.
Do you want to be my girlfriend? Do you want to be my... Okay, you know what? I got this. Hey, listen. Do you want to be my big sweaty Korean alpha boyfriend? What? Who said that? No witnesses. Oh, God, that was embarrassing.
Love it. Was that like just made right now in response to this whole girlfriend, like SpaZoe girlfriend talk? Very interesting. Oh, I was playing some of these football games with my little nephew in Poland. He was quite enjoying them. But yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. So many like rate me videos. All rate me. Good. So you're asking about like a split screen game, like a split screen bomb squad game? I mean, I don't have any plans for. If so, that I don't have plans for that. Just the whole design of Bomb Squad is that you're all playing on one screen. So like most, it's kind of a design constraint where you want maps to be small enough so everyone can be on one screen. I mean, it would be interesting having like split screen if you had like large maps where you could go wander in different areas or do completely different things. But it's not really. Hasn't really been a thought. So yeah, the engine doesn't really support that at the moment. Certainly could add it, but I mean, it would open up different like gameplay possibilities. having larger maps and being able to go off in different places and things like that. But yeah, there's in some ways, even though it's a design constraint, like keeping everything on one screen, it's also kind of simplifies technical design a little bit too. Like the game, I don't have to worry about like only drawing things that are visible on the screen because pretty much everything is always visible. So we just always draw everything. It simplifies the rendering engine and stuff a little bit to just make some assumptions like that. Once you have things like multiple subscreens and each one is seeing a subset of the whole thing, then you have to start getting into like only drawing what each screen is seeing, like frustum culling and things like that. So there are some like shortcuts we can take by not doing that in a way, so it's a little bit like there's upsides to keeping it limited. Oh yes, sorry, I've been meaning to tell you, yeah, the V2 promo code system is 100% functional, so yeah. Yeah, happy to, if you're planning events and whatnot, I'm happy to send you codes. Just ping me offline. But yeah, the new code system is, it's much nicer, I think, than the old one. Also, one less thing on V2 or one less thing running on V1 servers. Yay. Yes, this is. That's why I'm working on the new store right now to be able to add more new stuff. So I know there's a ton of people out there that have basically unlocked everything. Should start seeing new things soon, starting with Betty, and then with 1.8 then rolling out, there should be more variations on characters, more maps, more this, more that. At some point, I'll start. Yeah, if people want to make community stuff, I'd love to maybe pull some of that into the store. If people are okay with that, I'll obviously reach out to everyone, or we'll figure out how that works. But yeah, there will start to be more of an ecosystem of unlockables here soon with incoming tech. Lose everything if I unlink my V1 account now. Like, do you have like V1 links? I know that's kind of complicated, but like, do you have multiple V1 accounts with links on the V1 side, or are things linked on the V2 side? Does that make? You shouldn't lose everything. I would say maybe go ahead and try it, and if something breaks, I can help you fix it. At this point, having V1 links it's kind of a it's only going to cause problems. So I would say try to get rid of them. If, like I said, if something breaks, if you lose any inventory or something, I can poke through logs and fix that for you. But I would say it's worth it to get rid of V1 links, if at all possible. Hopefully the game is still warning you about them, or something should be warning you, because that is. Honestly, that's likely to cause the sort of weirdness you're seeing with ticket differences and stuff like that. So if you can get rid of those, that would be good. Any linking that you need to do, if you can do it through V2 linking at this point, like that's great. Yay! Okay, good. Yeah, it's that stuff. I mean, I've tried to simplify it as much as I can, but yeah, it's a little bit complicated with like how V1 linking worked. It's not really compatible with how V2 linking works, but so it's been tricky to like. I want to encourage everyone to like unlink their V1 stuff. If you need to link accounts, do it with V2. Just because I can't possibly account for like all the weird configurations of, there could be like two V1 logins that are attached to one V1 account, but then that V1 account is associated with a V2 account, and yeah, ugh. At some point we'll be left with nothing but V2 stuff, and it should be nice and simple and yeah, less, not bug free, but a lot less potential for bugs than with these weird like V1 and V2 stuff interacting. What is this? It's like the end of Ghostbusters with the marshmallow stuff. What the heck is going on? Oh, what is this? Oh, 405 method not allowed. Method not allowed. I will have to look into that. Yeah, that I'm not sure if that's a. Yeah, I'd have to see where. Yeah, I'll have to look into the code there. That might be a problem on my end. Are you? Do you get that on newer versions of the game? Do you know? Is anyone else seeing this? Yeah, this method not allowed thing. Because I'm curious if that's coming from mods or is that coming from the vanilla version of the game? Lots of questions there. If you're running like new version of the game and that is not modded and you're seeing that, definitely please let me know because that implies like a definite bug. Okay, so that's a bit older. Yeah, again, I will probably worry about that. If anyone is seeing that issue in a unmodded current version of the game, please let me know. Like if this is an old version of the game, especially if it's modded, there could be a number of reasons for it. There might be, like the old version of the game might be doing something that technically incorrect. So again, like if it is something that is still happening in current unmodded versions of the game, like I would want to fix that. If that's happening in like an old modded version, that might just be like a mod doing something that is technically not allowed by the server, but it wasn't enforcing it before, something like that. I mean, it should generally, if it's only happening sporadically, it might be harmless, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. Yes. Vaguely remember that. Yeah. Good old ticket bugs. Why aren't people reporting ticket bugs? I feel like it's. I think things are in a decent shape in terms of hopefully, yeah, those type bugs should hopefully be mostly gone. Yeah, this was an all-time blunder of mine. I was like, why are so many people downloading the VR version of the game? I'm trying to remember. I think maybe did I make it free at some point? I think it was paid, but then people just like pirated it and launched it to get the free pro. And then I maybe made it free at some point, in which case everyone would just launch it to get free pro. I don't know, but yeah, that was an oops. Yeah, I unfortunately had to take the 3D version down. I could no longer like support it basically because Google stopped supporting Cardboard and their old VR stuff. They now, I'm curious what they've got going now. They're technically supposed to launch a new headset, I believe. Like they're partnering with Samsung, I think. Samsung's Vision Pro competitor is almost here, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, yeah, there's supposed to be some new like XR headset. Of course, it's probably going to be like a high-end sort of thing, so not exactly the same as Cardboard, which was literally like $5. If anything, you can just make your own. Yeah, Bomb Squad Pro is basically gone now too. It's technically still there. If you should be able to unlock it with a Python command if you're crafty. That's another thing that'll be happening with the new store revamp that I'm in the middle of working on. Is there'll be like basically pro replacements. So it might be like a seasonal thing where you get like a pack of stuff if you want to pay a small amount, or it'll probably just be tokens. So it'll be like pay X tokens and get some immediate unlocked stuff. So essentially the same as kind of like the pro starter pack sort of situation. But it won't be called pro. It'll just be like maybe season pro pack or just some sort of starter bundle or whatever. How old is the Valve Index? When did that come out? Plan for any new game? Nope. Plans are just to keep updating Bomb Squad. I would love to add more like minigame varieties and things like that. But my at some point I won't rule out like making like a spin-off version of Bomb Squad tabletop for AR or some fun little thing like that. But basically all my energy and all my plans are just improving Bomb Squad engine, making it more moddable, making it so we can make like I do want to be able to make like kind of new types of experiences within Bomb Squad. That would be fun. Expand that a little bit. Just be able to, I don't mean like completely crazy stuff like a first-person shooter. I just mean like maybe having, new character types instead of just like the spaz character, like evolving it in fun little ways where we can kind of, have a slightly different variety of, third-person little games and stuff like that. New characters, of course. Cool. Like it. Zombie. Oh yeah. Like that would be a fun, like a zombie survival mode mini game. Like yeah, that would be great. It's like defend your little platform from like hordes of incoming zombies, stuff like that. I would just have to, the one thing I'd want to test is make sure that holds up on like network play. I really like, the game doesn't really enforce any sort of like bandwidth limits or anything like that. So I am curious, like people doing all this crazy stuff like earlier with the two armies of, characters fighting. Like that probably uses way more bandwidth than like an average mobile connection would have, just for all like the physics location updates and things like that. So like a zombie mode, I would just want to make sure that it's not going to like overwhelm the average. Like it would be physically possible to play it like multiplayer over, your average internet connection. Anything for public servers or public server creators? Well, the thing I mentioned, the new server list, that is number 3 on my to-do list. Number 1 is new store. Number 2 is mystery thing. And number 3 is new server list. And so the big thing there will be like, there will be what my current plans are is basically when you come into here and gather public, there will be like this list, basically a new version of this list. So I'm curious if it'll be like public new and public old. Like this one will stick around because like old servers, this will be how you still get to them. Or it might be like join public party new, join public party old. That might be what happens. But yeah, a new version of this list, which the main features will be like it will auto detect the region and only show you stuff from that region, so you don't get like, I mean this is wasting a ton of bandwidth on my end. It's like sending every person, like every single server from all across the world. Also, it wastes a lot of time because when you get this list, then you start pinging like servers all across the world, which is, it's fine, but it's also a lot of like wasted effort and network bandwidth and stuff like that. So anyway, yeah, the new list, it'll have like an auto-detected region for you. It'll only show you stuff from that region, so it should update much faster. You can switch your region to other regions then if you want. And then also there's going to be some more like verification, so you won't be able to like spoof someone else's server name, things like that. Just kind of like a modernized version of the server list that should just behave better. And then as part of that, when you host a server, like the new server list will only show like new servers, because new servers will have upgraded security basically, where it for like verification. That's also like why you can't spoof someone else's server name, is there'll be some sort of verification happening. But everyone that joins your server will be a 100% verified V2 account, so you'll be able to like screen people coming into your server. There shouldn't be any bugs with that. There shouldn't be any vulnerabilities with that, so you'll be able to see exactly like what V2 account ID everyone has. you should be able to block people coming into your server or ban them or whatever. So they're not gonna like get into your server and then get kicked a few seconds later. It should just be like, no, they can't come in. Yeah, so that's basically it. It should just be like a much modernized, better version of this server list. So that's number 3 on my side quest to-do list. But yeah, really wanting to get that in there. That'll also open up some other features, like servers should be able to award chests and things, because your server will be kind of verified. So I will know that like, okay, this server has been running for however long and has pretty good, maybe like a rating system too, probably. So if your server has good ratings and been running for a while, then you'll be able to like award people more chests or something. That's the plan anyway. Just some sort of kind of like, yeah, just a bit more of a social rating score associated with servers, or maybe the servers that have the best ratings will show up at the top of the list or something like that. You know, just a way to kind of, yeah, weed out problematic servers, encourage people to make like well-maintained, managed servers, stuff like that. So anyway, yeah, that's coming very soon, hopefully. Yeah, so yet another case where, you know, we've learned lessons of vulnerabilities that people have discovered and just addressing those. So oh yeah, tags, that could be good. Yeah, like region tag, mod tag, yeah, feature tag. Yeah, any other ideas y'all have for like what would be good for a server list? I'll probably be, I'm sure that'll, I mean, honestly, when I'm thinking about the server list, that's probably going to take a bit of time. So that might, I mean, that'll probably delay 1.8 a little bit more, but I think it's an important thing to have, especially now that there's these vulnerabilities with the PBIDs and stuff like that. I feel, like I said, like V1 accounts at this point, it seems like the Titanic. It's a sinking ship. We need to get everyone into the lifeboats. So this would be one of the lifeboats. So important to get it done here soon. It'd be good to just be like done with PBIDs and all the you know, UUID files and all that stuff that is not a very secure system. We can just get everybody off of those. Oh no, I mean, again, there's no official backstories, but yeah, in my headcanon, Zoe is a female space marine, same as Spaz. So they're on, you know, they're part of the same space marine. Yeah, they're in the same space marine setup, sort of thing. You know, we can define what that is per instance. But yeah, that was what she was intended to be. Is basically like, yeah, female version of Spaz, kind of on the same thing. Why your picture is Grumbledorf? Oh, I don't know. At some point, if you find my Steam account, I think I'm Spaz on there. So, but it's Grumbledorf here. I don't remember the motivation for that. But yeah, most populated servers with best latency should be first. Yeah, I think it'll be, yeah, in general, I think having it be organized a bit more by, yeah, like what servers have good ratings, what servers have more people in general, what servers have, yeah, longevity, whatever. Yeah, I want to basically be able to be smarter about that to where like the best servers float to the top, you know, as opposed to purely just latency. Just so it's a bit like if you come in and you have like your favorite servers, you'll tend to see them probably in similar orders. So it'll be a fun little revamp. And then, yeah, again, also like a rating system or something. I really want to encourage people to make like fun servers that work well, to where, you know, if you make a server that's janky and doesn't work for people and most people get kicked out because they're missing assets or something like that should probably appear further down the list, you know. Roadmap Seagull isn't doing okay. What? What's wrong with Roadmap Seagull? Oh no. Well, I mean, we can iterate on the system. Like, obviously, we want new I mean, maybe that could be a tag, like new servers or something. Like, obviously, we want new servers to be able to rise on the list, but it's like we also, or maybe, yeah, maybe like new servers would appear close to the top of the list until they get some ratings, and then it's based on their ratings or something like that. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't, like how to best handle that. I mean, the same question like a lot of things have, like app stores and stuff. It's like, do they show you old games that have good ratings, or do they show you like new games? Even though there's probably a lot of new games that are kind of crappy, and you'd probably rather see better games even if they're old, you know. So some sort of balance there. Or again, maybe like that could be the part of the tag thing. Like I want to see like what's new, or I want to see what's best rated. Yes, I live in an apartment. Yeah, I've been doing apartment life for a while. I live in the city. It's yeah, I enjoy apartments. Kind of like bounce around the city a little bit. So yeah, I live in an apartment. Technically, this apartment building was built as to be condos though, so it's like condo style apartments. But it is still technically an apartment. But yeah, I'd love to. I just want to get something up, and then can ask you all like if you think it's working well, because I think it shouldn't be hard to get something that's working better than the current system. I think the current system was okay for a long time, but it's kind of we've grown out of it, you know. Oh my gosh, I would be so bad at guessing football players. I mean, I vaguely, yeah, like I know a few, but I'm not even gonna like embarrass myself by by showing you how bad my football knowledge is. Yes, that's my building behind us. Yes, yes. No, not really. All right. Well, actually, it is getting pretty darn late. I know I started like 15 or 20 minutes late, but we are at the 2 hour mark. So I guess I feel bad we didn't get to any gameplay today, but we'll have to do that next time. It's been a while, so there's a lot of questions to catch up on. So the last important thing is what did we discuss today? Like, what is we need a item for the video name on YouTube. Like what? Everyone throw out fun names. Have we discussed anything quirky today? Like what would make a good episode name? Oh yeah, yeah, Spaz and Zoe. There we go. Okay, I feel like that's been kind of the our Spaz and Zoe thing. Coffee at Spaz's wedding. Okay. Oh yeah, this is definitely something I want. Is yeah, some sort of server ratings. I think at least like a thumbs up, thumbs down on servers, but or maybe like a 5-star thing. Um, but because I do want servers to have more of like a reputation, I think ratings are a good part of that. I mean, they don't have to be like a huge part of it, but still being able to say like, hey, the server is not very fun, or like it has crappy rules, or slows my machine down or kicks me out immediately or whatever. Like, I think it would be good to encourage servers to be good servers, and also, so yeah, I think ratings would be a great thing, a great addition. I can't really add them to the old list because the old list doesn't really. I mean, I don't really. It doesn't have any like permanent or secure record of what this server is. It just has like an IP address and a name, basically. Um, so like if it's really easy to change your name or change your IP address, and then like suddenly your ratings are gone. So the new one it'll probably be like associated with an account or something. If you're running a server, you'll probably have to have it associated with your V2 account, and so yeah, there'll be more of like a permanent record of that server. We'll see how it works, but yeah, it'll be something where ratings will be a little bit more relevant. Bomb Squad open world. Oh, that would be cool. That would definitely require the engine changes to be able to like display stuff as it comes on screen. Like I said, we don't have that right now. We currently just display the entire world, which for an open world thing would not be good. You don't literally want to draw everything in an entire open world. So, all right. Anyway, okay. Well, I guess I will call it a day for today. So, thanks everyone for tuning in. It's been fun chatting, getting caught up. We'll have to get back to doing some playing next time, or trying out some mods and stuff too. We haven't done that in a while. I'll be around. So yeah, anyone shoot me some DMs if you need to, or if you got any other questions. So I will be here. And yeah, otherwise I am recording. I did remember to record, so I'll get this uploaded for tomorrow. So all right, well everybody, it's been fun. And yeah, have a good week or 2 or 3. Did he poo himself? What's going on here? So anyway, I will catch all you folks next time. So peace out.